Candidates, I am going to hold you to an answer to that question. So, Mr. Morrow, yes or no, do you support that bill?
I don't support the bill in the way it stands right now. It needs more work.
Very good. Ms. Graham, the question to you is, do you support the HEROES Act?
I don't support it as it stands either. I agree with Mr. Morrow. This bill reminds me of the 2017 tax cuts, which had kind of crumbs thrown to regular working people and middle income people, while the massive tax cuts for the extraordinarily wealthy go on forever. But the ones for lower and middle income people, which were small to begin with, are set to automatically expire. This bill kind of reminds me of that. And so frankly does the first stimulus bill that was passed. You know, regular working people got a $1,200 paltry amount, a one-time payment, while other developed nations around the world are giving their citizens a short-term universal basic income of from $2,000 a month upward to sustain them and to sustain their economy during this time. We also need to provide much more help for truly small businesses. I'm talking the mom and pop businesses on the square in our rural communities. We haven't done that in these stimulus bills at all. So we need to focus on the majority and not the small minority of wealthy in this country in these stimulus bills. Thanks.
Ms. Graham, thank you. Ms. Greenfield, are you a yes or a no for the HEROES Act?
Thank you, Matt. You know, I don't know everything that's in that bill, but I do know this. As the president of a small business, someone that has to stretch a dollar at a kitchen table, I certainly want to understand what's all in that bill and how we're going to pay for it. Look, my focus is absolutely on what's urgent right now. And I think that our leaders need to start thinking long term about what's on the other side of this pandemic, this economic crisis. And right now, we need to be focusing investments on our workers, making sure, again, they have the testing, the PPE they need, more direct payments. Our small businesses who lights are off and are struggling to find the capital to open those doors up again, provide those jobs so they can sign some paychecks. And those are the kinds of things I'd be looking for. How do we take care of our communities, our hospitals? How this bill is best for Iowa. So given what I know about it today, I certainly wouldn't support it, but I would keep working because I know we need to take some urgent action.
Mr. Franken, to you, do you support the HEROES Act?
I do not support the HEROES Act as it's written, but I do appreciate Speaker Pelosi's work. I'm a big fan of her and the House of Representatives taking leadership where the administration ought to. This next decade or more is going to be very, very difficult. We need very refined bills to ensure that they're benefiting exactly what needs to get done and the worker in America, especially those whose income are below $40,000. Small businesses in Iowa, for example, those that employ the vast majority of Americans. Ultimately, though, this is a national security issue. We have a problem with infusing enough M2 in the monetary supply, which ultimately generates economic activity and revenue back to state and local governments, a very big necessity. But the country that comes out of this first may very well be the long-term strategic winner. So we need to work hard and be very refined as we go forward.